What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and the recent release of the UCS Hulkbuster marked the end of the 2022 year for LEGO Marvel. 2022 was an interesting year for LEGO Marvel. It started out amazing, and it looked like it was going to be one of the best years ever for LEGO Marvel, but there were a few disappointments that were released, and after some ups and downs, the 2022 LEGO Marvel season turned out to be one that was above average, but not quite the epic one that it seemed that it was going to be at the start of the year. I thought it'd be fun to take a look back at all 29 LEGO Marvel sets released in 2022 and rank them from worst to best. A few ground rules before we get started. I will be ranking the 4+ sets as well as the poly bags, as in past ranking videos I've not done those sorts of sets and they've been requested. However, I will not be ranking the foil packs or now paper packs that come on the magazines, as those are exclusive to the EU markets and not everybody can get their hands on them, and plus they're usually just a minifigure that we've already seen in a set. They're not really ever exclusive, or there's no build, so those will not be on this list. We've got a ton of sets to rank, so without further ado, let's start with the worst set. In the 29th spot, I have the Spider-Man's Technotrike from the Spidey and His Amazing Friends set. This Technotrike is just really a simple build, and honestly, it's kind of ugly. I think the only thing that's good about these Spidey and His Amazing Friends sets is that we get a different version of some of the Marvel characters that we have. Sure, this isn't the best version of Miles Morales or Green Goblin, but they are unique and they add something different to the collection. At the 28th spot, I have Spider-Man at Doc Ock's lab. Similar story to the set before, there's this simple nature to these sets, and that means that details are definitely lacking. In this case though, there are some at least decent pieces that you can use with the green ratcheted arms and then the yellow support beams, but nothing really too notable as far as minifigures go here. You know, we've seen a lot of Spideys, we've seen a lot of Doc Ocks. Again, these are just different minifigures, and then in this case, we've got some kind of more usable pieces with this set versus the last. Up next in 27th, I have the Hulk versus Rhino Truck Showdown. Same reason as the Technotrike set, but as a 4+ set, these just don't offer a lot to the collection outside of these obscure minifigures. In this case though, we do get probably the best version of Rhino that we've ever gotten. We only ever got the one version of him in the past, and it was just a kind of a plain guy. It wasn't, anything rhino-y about him. So this is actually kind of a cool and unique minifigure, so I'm glad that we got him. It uses this cool helmet piece, and I could actually argue that maybe this set should be a little bit higher for that reason. At number 26, I have the Spider-Man Web Quarter Hangout, and the last of these Spider and His Amazing Friends sets. As you can see, I wasn't too high on these sets, but again, I'm not really the target audience for these sets, being the fact that I'm 29 and these are 4+ sets. This set does give us a new Miss Marvel minifigure, which is nice. We haven't gotten one of her in a while. The entire Spidey bunch is also included here with that Miles, the Ghost Spider, and then Spidey himself. There's some good and interesting pieces here too, which is why I gave it a slight nod over the other Spidey sets, but really of these 4 sets you can kind of easily interchange them with any of these spots here because they're all fairly similar in terms of what they offer, and again, I'm not really the target audience for these, so that's why I've got them at the bottom of my list. In 25th, I have Shuri's Lab, and this is the last 4+ set on this list. This set is fine in what it offers. For a 4+ set, the build is actually somewhat decent. You get a nice kind of printed wall piece too that could be reused in some custom builds. But the reason I gave this one the nod over the other 4+ sets is because of the inclusion of some good minifigures. That Shuri was exclusive, so this is a cheaper way to get her if you missed out on her. And then there is actually an exclusive Black Panther to add to your collection here. So at $10, this is just a really easy set to kind of rank and pick up, as sure, it's a little bit better than those 4+ sets, but still nothing special here outside of the minifigure set this set offers. At 24, I have the Attack on New Asgard set. The only saving grace with this set is the minifigures, and it's just really a Thor 4 figure pack with a 150-piece side build. There's no reason to really get this set though, as the other Thor set that we got included all of these figures plus 2 other exclusive figures and a way better build. Actually a build that you wanted to build, a build that you want to look at. So the only real reason to get this set is so that you could say you have all the Marvel sets, which is honestly why I bought it. You know, there's nothing exclusive about this set, and that build for the kind of ghost figure thing is honestly laughable. I guess technically this is movie accurate after seeing it. A little bit of a stretch, you know, they kind of took some creative liberties with designing those ghost monsters from Gore, but overall kind of a forgettable set in my mind. The 23rd best set is the Venom buildable figure. Really, this comes down to personal preference for me, with these next three can really be interchanged according to your own preference. I like Lego though because they aren't action figures, and it's a construction brick, and this set tries to combine those two ideas into one, and it's just not for me, to be honest. At $25, the price was okay, and I do have this set, I did build it, but I preferred the other two characters over Venom. So that leads me to the 22nd spot. I have the Miles Morales buildable figure. I gave him the nod here again because I like the character of Miles Morales more than Venom, but that's my personal preference. I will say that these are probably the best attempt that Lego has made at buildable figures, as they've surprisingly have tried a few times between Lego Marvel and Lego Star Wars, and I really think they've kind of all been misses, especially that original kind of go around with like the Hero Factory Marvel buildable figures. So I do actually like these the best of all the buildable figures that we've gotten from Lego Marvel. Again, they're just not for me. It's not something that I'm really appealed to be honest. So that's why I've got them lower on this list. The 21 set is the Spider-Man buildable figure. Again, personal preference here, but Spider-Man is obviously just a classic character, and if I had to pick one of these three to get, I have them all, but if I had to only pick one, I would have probably just selected the Spider-Man one because it's just kind of classic. The one nice thing about these, though, that I did want to say before I move on in this list is that there's no stickers here. So any of that decorated detail that you see on these figures is actually a print, which is a really nice inclusion in my mind, and I'm happy that they did that. And they were able to kind of get the price point around to $25, which I think is fairly fair for these sort of figures in general. In 20th, I have the Iron Man buildable figure. Now, I could see an argument to put this below the other buildable figures since this one was $15 more expensive. It did include another 100-ish pieces, but I still feel like this is similar to those other figures that we just looked at. In this case, though, I think you get a little bit of a larger figure, and that additional 100 pieces really allows you to add a lot more detail into the build, which is nice. They also included a UCS plate here, and it was nice to get like a light brick as well. However, all the details that are captured here are through stickers, which is definitely a negative. So again, I could see that argument to put the other buildable figures ahead of this. They were cheaper, they had prints, but overall I kind of liked this Iron Man better. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more details, and then that inclusion of that UCS plaque makes it just feel like that much more of a display piece than a play piece, which is what I'm personally looking for. At 19, I have the Spider-Man and Green Goblin mech battle. The mechs are just okay in my mind, and this is the third Spider-Man mech in 3 years, so it's starting to get a little bit repetitive in terms of a Spider-Man mech. The reason I have this one higher than the buildable figure, though, is due to the inclusion of minifigures here and the lower price point. You're really just getting these to get the minifigures in a lot of cases, and at least in this Versus pack, you get two different figures, a good guy and a bad guy, so you can kind of make battle if needed. But to compare to the buildable figures, you get something similar, right? You get this larger buildable structure in the mech, but then you also get the added benefit of a minifigure and a lower price point. So overall, I prefer these mechs to the buildable figures personally. And as the 18th best set, I have the Iron Man mech battle. Similar to the Spider-Man mech, Iron Man is also getting a little bit repetitive considering this is the second year that we've gotten a Iron Man mech, but at least this set offers a really, really cool and exclusive Iron Man figure that I think will be quite collectible for some years to come. His main color is pearl gold, which I think is really cool. It looks really good, and then it uses that dark red as his accent color. So this is one of those Iron Man figures that just kind of stands out on your shelf and in your collection. So what a great figure. The mech itself isn't too bad, and overall, this is the 18th best set. The 17th best set, again, is a similar story, but in this case, I've got the Black Panther mech, giving him the slight nod since this is the first time we've seen Black Panther as a mech versus the second time we've seen Iron Man as a mech, which also, in this case, the Black Panther includes a unique T'Challa minifigure, which is really cool. It's also nice that they gave us a minifigure head as well as a hairpiece to go along with that printed helmet minifigure head, so you can display him either way that you want, and I think that's a nice touch. I also kind of think that that black and purple color scheme makes for a great mech color scheme. I don't know why, there's just something that kind of pops about this one. It's kind of cool with the Black Panther claws. This one just works for me. Number 16 is the last of the mechs, and I have the Wolverine mech here. These mech sets are perfect to get minifigures for, and we've only ever gotten 3 Wolverines, the last one being a Microfighter Wolverine in 2017, so we were long overdue for a Wolverine minifigure. The adamantium claws are also a really cool inclusion, and they work really well with this mech design, similar to that Black Panther's claws. At $15 less than the buildable figures we looked at earlier, and with the inclusion of a minifigure and only 100 pieces less, these mech sets are just a much better deal in my mind, which is generally why I have them here in the middle of the pack above those buildable figures. And this is the last of the mech sets from 2022. Cracking off the top 15, I have the UCS Hulkbuster, which is also the most expensive Marvel set from 2022, and one that should really be one of the best from this year, but due to the poor execution, it's just not. I really want to like this set, but after buying it, my own money, I just can't say that it's really worth it, to be honest. Sure, actually the building experience is excellent, but you can get good building experiences from a lot of LEGO sets and for far less money. You don't need to spend $550 for a building experience. That's just an added bonus when you buy the set, when you really enjoy putting it together. The minifigure that's exclusive is really poor. There's a lot of missing details here, and the sacrifices that they had to make to the design to include the gimmick of inserting the buildable Iron Man figure just leaves you wanting more. And at $550, you don't just want more, but you deserve more, and this set fails to deliver. I talk about all of this in way more detail in my full review, which I will link up top right now. The 14th best set is the Black Panther War on the Water set, and this might surprise some people, but if you've seen my review, you know that I'm not a huge fan of this set. Outside of the 4 exclusive minifigures, including our first M'Baku figure, which is awesome, don't get me wrong, but there's no leg printing on a lot of these, so you really can't say that they're S-tier minifigures without those additional details here. But they're really good minifigures, don't get me wrong. What really hurts though is that this set is extremely overpriced at $90. Simply put, if you factor in $20 max for the 5 minifigures included, that means you are spending $70 for this set, and it is not a $70 boat. I like the boat build a lot though, and I think that they were able to do the most with what they could, considering that this set is so large in universe. I also really like the micro dragon flyer builds here that are included too. However, I think it really needs to be cheaper, and I've actually seen this set on sale at some retailers for as little as $60, 30 whole dollars off. That's a third of the price. If I could judge this set at $60, I'd happily move it up 5 or even 10 spots on this list, but we have to judge this at retail price to be fair to all the other sets that we're judging at retail price, and that really, really hurts this set in my mind. At 13th, I have a similar story with the Iron Man Armory, which is another 2022 Marvel set that's ranking is being hurt by its expensive price tag. I don't have to explain to anybody why $90 for less than 500 pieces is a bad deal. And this is also the 3rd Armory set in 3 years, so any excitement for this style of build or this set design has worn off by now, so that premium price tag really, really hurts here. Especially when you consider that they totally redesigned the actual Armory panel, so it kind of looks a little bit weird next to the other Armory sets that we've already gotten. There's a total of 8 minifigures here too, which is nothing to scoff at. In fact, that's awesome, and it's great to get some of these more unique Iron Mans as well, and a really, really cool Whiplash figure. However, they reuse Pepper Potts and they reuse Nick Fury, so that makes that 8 number feel worse when you consider we're really just kind of getting 6 solid minifigures here. You know, 1 Iron Man that we've gotten before. So overall, you're really kind of just getting this set for the 5 minifigures. So again, $90 for this feels really, really bad. This is another set that I would have put higher. I wanted to put higher, but I just couldn't because of how overpriced it is. And I'm not really one to kind of bark at Lego prices. I understand why it's expensive. I get it. I'm usually the one justifying the price, and this set just feels overpriced to me. The 12th best set is the Guardians Advent Calendar. These Advent calendars are kind of hard to rank because they're not like one complete build itself, and you're kind of paying for the experience too here, so it's a little bit kind of out there in terms of ranking. So in some people's mind this could definitely be higher, in some people's mind this could definitely be lower, but I have it right here at 12th. I kind of think that high middle of the list is a good place for it. I love that Lego captured a unique Marvel property too with the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I think that's perfect to just kind of do as an advent calendar. And the minifigures that are included are pretty great. You know, we got some repeats, but that comic accurate Drax is just awesome. And man, that figure will be collectible in the future for sure. Overall, though, the builds are kind of what you'd expect from an advent calendar. I personally liked the build with that little box of all the Easter eggs, all the inclusions of the awesome mix tape, as well as that micro Milano build. I think that one's just pretty darn great. So overall, I just got this as kind of just a solid set here. Nothing crazy special. You're spending money to get those unique figures. You're probably not really displaying any of these builds, and you're just using the pieces. But this is not something you want to buy. It's just like a piece pack. So overall, 12th place for me on this list. In 11th, I had the Black Panther bust, and this wasn't a set that I was too excited about, and I might have it higher than some people think it's deserved, but I have built this set. I built all of these sets, and after building it, I definitely have to say it's better in person. The bust seems to be at a close to 1-to-1 ratio with actual human, so that's really cool to see on display. So it is quite large. It's definitely way bigger than the kind of smaller helmet series that we've seen. I mean, it's like 4 times the size as those, so that's all cool. The details that they were able to capture here are really, really great. However, in some cases, I'm wondering why they weren't able to capture more details with that added size. So it's a little bit weird. It's like in some cases, there's a ton of details, and then other cases, you're like, this just looks kind of boring and plain. So it's a weird set overall, and I liked it. I want to like it more, and ultimately, I just kind of keep asking myself why with this set. It's clear that Lego just thinks bigger is better, which I think a lot of us think definitely is not true. Looking at that like new Hulkbuster that was just leaked and about to be released for 2023 compared to the UCS one. Perfect example of where bigger is not indeed better. This set would have been much better served as one of those $70 helmet sets, especially when you consider that this set takes up so much space and it costs $350. It's gonna be, when I run out of space, it's definitely gonna be one of those sets that I'm kind of first to look at and say, okay, I can remove this set and I can add 2 more sets here on my display as my collection grows and as you run out of space. So weird set coming in just outside the top 10. Now, cracking off the top 10, I have King Namor's Throne Room. Sure, there are no exclusive minifigures here, but the figures included are really, really great, and they all have leg printing, and I'd take that any day. This set is also very justly priced, and the set itself looks pretty good on display. It's definitely a unique Marvel set, too. I mean, A, we don't see a lot of thrones in Marvel, and B, none of them are just a skull underwater like this, so it's definitely kind of pulling on my unique strings here and maybe inflating this ranking for me a little bit. The only negative I really have about this set is this inclusion of kind of a gimmicky play feature in my mind. I don't think they needed to put that disc shooting out the base of it. I don't know, that's just weird and not even from the movie, so they're just including a play feature to include a play feature. This isn't by any means an absolutely amazing set, but it's just solid, and it's a great way in my mind to start this top 10. In 9th, I have the Spider-Man Bridge Battle Polybag. I don't have much to say about this set other than it's just a solid polybag and a great way to get a Spider-Man figure. There's also some kind of interesting inclusions here. The Tower Bridge sticker is really, really great, and that build for the drone is really good too. This is just kind of what polybags are meant to be in my mind, and just a solid polybag overall. The only issue I actually had with this set is it was a little bit difficult to find. I mean, you can't really find it a lot of places. It was released towards the beginning of the year, and it actually took me until July to get it, so I just couldn't find it anywhere. So that's definitely a negative for me, is that it's hard to find. The 8th best set is the Gargantos Showdown. This was the only set that was released before the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, and although it didn't have everything you needed to replay the movie, it contained most of it in a spoiler-free manner, which I appreciate. The build for the Gargantos was solid too, and the exclusive Wong and American Chavez minifigures are great inclusions. Sure, it's just another technical monster from Marvel, but at least this time we got the entire monster, and it's not just part of it sticking out of the ground or the wall or something like that. So overall, solid build, great experience. You kind of get 3 characters from the main movie here, and just a great set. At number 7, I have the Endgame Battle Pack. More of this, please. What a great little set, and the inclusion of 2 exclusive minifigures makes this much better in my mind. Sure, I'd love for them to be all exclusive, but that's probably too much to ask for. I think the best part about this set is the fact that we got like 4 real minifigures, and then this kind of buildable Meek, which technically counts as the 5th minifigure, but it's not really a traditional minifigure in the sense of the word, so you kind of get him as this bonus 5th character instead of just kind of including Meek as that 4th. So overall though, at the price of $15, you couldn't really ask for more, considering Star Wars Battle Packs these days cost $15 for 3 figures, and this was $15 for 5 or 4.5, however you want to count it. The 6th best set is the Shuri's Sunbird. I really like this set, and this ship works really well as a Lego ship. The minifigures here are great too, and the inclusion of 2 exclusive minifigures and then 2 other repeat figures is a great mix. I love getting multiple of those really good detailed minifigures, and I love getting some exclusive minifigures as well. I would have had this slightly higher on my list, but after seeing the movie, there's just some slight inaccuracies now in those engine foils. In the movie, the ship typically had its engines kind of spread apart and more fanned out and like a frilled appearance, kind of like a sunbird, but Lego wasn't able to kind of capture that movement and that posability in the wings, considering they're stuck together, and if you unstuck them, they can't stand on their own. So it's a slight nitpick at its accuracy. Otherwise, I would have had it a little bit higher on this list. We're starting to get a little bit more competitive. We're getting in the top 5 here. Still a really good Lego set. At 5th, I have the I Am Groot set, and I really like this set. I think that there's some great aspects to it. The head is masterfully pieced together, and it uses some really cool building techniques. The awesome mixtape included is also awesome, and it allows you to display either volume 1 or volume 2, which is a nice touch. There are a lot of needed details here that are captured using stickers, which sure, stickers suck, but they're definitely needed in this case. The size of this is pretty great too, and it's scaled really well to itself compared to the tape, to the head, to the arms, to the legs. Nothing is out of place or too big. And I also think, despite that it looks a little creepy, the mouth and the eyes are really great, considering this is something that's really hard to capture in Lego. I mean, look at like the buildable Yoda figure. It's very difficult to capture facial expressions, and I actually think that they did a pretty good job here with this Groot. Really, the only downfall is that maybe this is slightly overpriced or slightly expensive, but even that price is not too bad, considering what you get here is really good. The 4th best set of 2022 is the Nano Gauntlet. What a great display piece, and the reason I have this edge slightly over the I Am Groot is just because I feel like the price is a little bit better for this, even though they're kind of similar designs. The sculpting in the Lego that the Lego designer was able to capture here is really excellent, and like I said, I think that price is fair. I also really like all the metallic pieces that are included, and the overall aesthetic that this set is able to capture is pretty perfect. There is also some really nice part usage here with the satchel piece as a stone holder, and that's just great. Nod to the designer for that technique. And overall, this was just a great addition to that kind of Marvel bust sub-theme line. Now we've reached the top 3, and at number 3, I have the Goat Boat from Thor 4. I thought about putting this a little bit lower on the list, as with the movie being released, it wasn't the best movie, to be honest, but I didn't want that to take away from this set. In fact, I didn't want that movie's lackluster feel to have a lackluster feel on this set, considering that this set stands on its own outside of the Marvel universe. It's just a great build for a Norwegian ship, and I could see people using this in mocks or expanding upon this in the future. So overall, I really just like this as a Lego set and not necessarily a Lego Marvel set. Looking back at the movie though, you get all of the minifigures minifigures here from the entire wave. They're included in this set, so this is really the only Thor set that you needed to get from the Thor 4 movie, and there's no reason to get that other set. The one downfall is arguably the goats. My god, those are terrifying, but I will say they did capture the scale well, since in the movie they are pretty giant. They're about the same size as the characters, so in reality Lego did a pretty good job here. Again, it's just kind of that poor source material, and I'm not going to let that hurt my opinion of this set. So overall, it comes in as number 3. The second best set from 2022 is the Thor's Hammer set. This is an awesome set, and it was one of those sets that was announced at the beginning of the year and gave you hope that this would be one of the best years for Lego Marvel. 2022 Lego Marvel as a whole didn't live up to the hype that this set helped create, but this set lived up to its own hype that it created for itself. What a great piece to add to any collection. The handle build does get a little bit repetitive, but if you ever get a chance to pick this thing up, you really do feel like you're holding a giant hammer, and it's weighted really, really well. The stand was also a nice inclusion, as it allows you a solution to display this on rather than having to simply put it on its side. The side builds are a nice inclusion, but not really necessary, and I'm sure that they were just kind of an add-on due to maybe extra budget or something like that with the piece count. Overall, this is an excellent set, and it could have easily been the best set of the year in some of the other years of Lego Marvel. That means the best set from 2022 is the Sanctum Sanctorum. Wow, what an amazing set, and I remember the hype for this set from the leaks to the reveal to me actually buying it to building it, and it lived up to it all. At $30 more than the most recent modular set, this set wasn't even too expensive or overpriced in my mind, and it contained a fully detailed interior. I mean, this set is jam-packed with details on the inside. Sure, some of it's just bookcases and some of it can be a little bit plain, but there's just added details behind every stairwell, every bookcase, and every floor. They jam-packed this thing full of hidden secrets. Typically, that space would have just been left blank in most modular buildings, but this set invites you in and it encourages you to explore and use all of that additional space. This set is not perfect, however. If they wanted to make it perfect, I think they would have needed to include another of those two kind of blank wall pieces so that you could fully enclose the building instead of having to choose which side you wanted enclosed, which side you wanted Gargantos to come out of, and then which side you wanted that Sing Ring portal at. I think just the inclusion of two plain additional wall pieces would have been perfect here for display purposes. If that were the case, though, I think this set could have been close to perfect. The 9 minifigures included are great too, especially when you consider that 8 of them are exclusive. The inclusion of all the different figures allows you to replay multiple movies and not just the Multiverse of Madness, which is nice. There's a lot of added value because of that. And you can also directly hook this up to your modular collection, meaning that it can be integrated easily into any city. Outside of this set and the Daily Bugle, how many themes can actually integrate into the other modular theme? Ninjago is really the only one I can think of with the city and the temple and the gardens. Otherwise, Marvel's the only theme that can really integrate with the modulars, which is really, really cool in my mind. This is the best Doctor Strange set ever released, as well as the best Marvel set of 2022 and one of the best Marvel sets of all time. Well, that is my ranking for all of the 2022 Lego Marvel sets. I'd like to hear from you now. What is your favorite 2022 Marvel set? Let me know in the comments section below. Do I have any of these too high or too low? Is there a set here I need to give another chance to? Just let me know in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more Lego content. And if you're looking for even more Lego content, join the Plain Old Grinch Discord, link in the description of this video. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.